Do you think you can just skip the entire market research section of your planning process? Think again. I'm going to show you how you can get started in just 5 easy steps. Let's go. Hey everyone, Peter Thorsen here with Palo Alto Software. We make an app called LivePlan. We're going to talk about market research and how it fits into any style of business plan. If you are going after financing, industry research is going to be very important. The person on the other side of the lending table is going to have research of their own. So you want to be sure to have your own data, your own research, and your own sources so that if your data doesn't line up perfectly, you can say, well, here's how I validate my sources. Here's where my information comes from. And that way have a great conversation and hopefully get whatever financing you need. I believe that you all can do it. We've got 5 easy steps to go through this process, so let's get started. Step 1 is to define your target market. Here's the key tips. Describing that ideal customer, the person who is most likely to buy your product or service. Think about it as specifically as you can. You want to define your target market in a way that I can really feel who this person is. So think about their age, their demographic, how much do they make, where do they live, what do they do, why do they find your product, and why do they love it? Why is it the aspirin for their migraine headache? So think about that when you define your target market. The more specific you can be here, the better it's going to help the next 4 steps. So the second step, once you've got that target market defined, we want to gather information about those people who are in that target market. The most common way for entrepreneurs to gather this information is called primary research. And it's absolutely incredibly important for you to get out and talk to customers. Regardless of what stage of business you're at, you should always be in touch with real life people from your target market. That's how you get firsthand research data. You use their actual words and you reflect on whether your product is really meeting their needs. That's primary research. But secondary research can be equally as important. How many people exist in your target market? How big could you expand? How many people don't exist in your target market in a region? So you make sure not to spend money to reach people that you're not going to ever sell to. So there's both primary research and secondary research. And the secondary research is, again, the one that people skip the most because it's hard to look up. The next step is who else is serving this target market? If your customers have a headache and you're the aspirin, who else is providing relief to their problem worth solving? So when we think about competition, you want to know just the basics. Who are they? Where are they? What are they doing? How many customers do they serve? But you also want to know about their strategic advantages. Similar to target market, there's going to be some benefit to literally visiting your competition, visiting their websites, going into their establishments, looking at how they operate and what they do, what their price points are, that kind of thing. Again, that's going to be called firsthand research, primary research. But you also want to do secondary, overarching research about the entire market. How many of these competitors are there out there? Not just in the United States, but globally. What are the major trends that your competitors are experiencing? And how do you find this kind of data? Again, census data can be useful. Sometimes some online research can get you there. It's going to help you understand what areas you might want to expand into, what areas your strengths are in, and how that applies to competing against the other folks trying to reach your target market. In fact, those competitive trends are a great transition to section 4, which are the overall industry trends. Is your overall industry, the entire space that you exist in, doing really well, on the decline? How can you take advantage of either one of those? This is such an important space because I talk to so many entrepreneurs who know their industry trends based on instinct. They have a very good feeling for how things are going, maybe in their region or in an overall sense. What I mean is, well, if I'm a bike shop and people are using less bicycles or they're going towards e-bikes, that's great. Of course you have that knowledge. You're the bike shop owner. I expect that of you. But how can you quantify that knowledge? Is your industry growing by 5%? Is there a 10% decline in non-battery powered bicycles and a 20% increase in e-bikes? That's quantification. And you can get that research by looking up articles, looking at census data, that kind of thing. Or if you're currently using LivePlan, you can just go to the industry data section, check out the research there, and look at these major industry trends. The data is compiled from many sources, put into one place for every single industry out there. So Get started now, look at what that data says, see where your advantages are, and how you fit into those overall industry trends. So step 5, summarize. You're gonna be out there, you're gonna read. You're gonna consume. You're gonna be interviewing actual customers, taking down their actual words. You're gonna hit a point where you've got pages and pages of data. What do you do with it? It's time to summarize. It's time to understand what applies to your business and your goals and summarize that into a business plan format. An app like LivePlan can really help you, give you a place to put this information, give you some structure for that process. But ultimately, you want to start weeding out what's very important to you, what's relevant to your goals, what are you going to apply to your own business strategy, and which data points are nice to know and maybe you'll keep them in your head somewhere, but don't need to be part of your strategic planning process. And like any planning process, remember that this is not a one-time event. You should be thinking about this over a long period of time. If you're very early stage, your research is going to be very enlightening. If you're up and running and you've been running in your industry for 5 years, some of this research may just seem to be confirming what you already know, and that's great. So don't skip these steps regardless of what stage you're in, regardless of where your planning process is. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I think you should get started on this process right now. Let's go.